Good morning, my YouTube friends. This is Chef Andros at home. Today, it's Friday, the 25th of November 2022. And I will make for a second time a jellied pork, which in Greek we call Zalatina. This is a traditional dish, although similar variations of this treat are made in Europe and the US, actually around the world. It's similar to the head cheese, as they call it in England. But you see, I am talking to you very, very low because it's close to 2:30 in the morning, and I already had a few hours of sleep. My wife is still sleeping, and the dog is still sleeping. So I will show you my ingredients. Right behind me, you can see my smoked hiromeri, my smoked ham, which is drying. It needs to be hung there for a few months until it is ready. Right above, you can see my marmalades and jams and my sweets. Okay, so and now I will show you the ingredients for my jellied pork. Right. um, I will be using I will be using 1.7 kilograms of tongues. I am not using all of the head because it is very, very fatty. I am using more refined cuts. So these are tongues of the pig. This is most of the meat of one shoulder. I have two ears that they have a lot of cartilage, and it will make my jellied pork more stiff. And I have four trotters. These are the front feet of the pig. We are using the front trotters because they are much cleaner than the rear ones. And I have just the last part of the oxtail, because it has a lot of collagen in it, so it makes a very nice jelly into my dish. Okay, the rest of it is in the fridge. We will enjoy it in a casserole. I have a few bones that I was deboning some pork chops. I was using the loin, and I have some fat, which we need some fat because later when you see the finished jellied pork, there will be a layer of fat which will seal the jellied pork, and it will keep it for a very, very long time. So now I will turn the camera onto my containers. I want you to see what I am going to fill. So there I have all of my containers. Okay, and this is the stove. It's already making my water warm, and I am using totally 18 liters of water that I am going to boil my meat and reduce it from 20 liters to 10 liters by boiling. The rest of the ingredients I will show you later. The rest of my ingredients. Okay, I have 2 bitter oranges that I will just boil together with the meat so that it makes a nice um, flavor. Here I have a bouquet garni. In here there are black peppercorns, there are 2 or 3 cloves, there is a star anise, some cinnamon, some allspice, some cardamom, and various condiments that they will give a very nice flavor to our jellied pork. I have rosemary. This Cypriot recipe must have a lot of rosemary in it, and of course when I will be finishing, when I will be potting my jellied pork, I will put on top so that it flavors the whole dish. Okay, I will be using some carrots and some celery stalks to give more flavor to my jellied pork. And right now I will start blanching my meats. You can see that the time now is 20 to 3 in the morning, and so the clock is just opposite you. I will be using a lot of vinegar, lemon juice, and some juice from the bitter oranges that I have kept in my refrigerator from last year. Okay, so I will be using about 1 liter of vinegar. I will be using about 300 mils of lemon juice, and I will be using about 600 or 700 mils of bitter orange juice, which flavors the jellied pork nicely. So you do understand that if I will be using about 3 liters or 2.5 liters of sour ingredients, it will be a very tart food. And this is the idea. It has to be sour. Okay. My pot started simmering, and I already started removing the froth from the casserole. So this is what we have to do, at least in the beginning. So I put all the ingredients separately. So I put the trotters in one casserole, the meat in another, the ears in another, and the tongues in another pot. Because they boil, they take their own time, so they will not be cooked at the same time. But anyway, in the end, I will put all the stock together. It is just to let them be cooked. Right now, to help the procedure of the froth, I will add to each casserole a big spoonful of salt. Okay, and of course I will adjust the amount of salt in the end. So for obvious reasons, I will be simmering all of my pots with no lid. So we don't use any lid, we just remove all of the lids because we want the water to evaporate and reduce the stock down to 50%. You can see that the time is 3:25 in the morning. My casseroles, they are on a low simmer. I will bring the camera near. So I keep the 18 liters of water, but I reduced it by one pot. So I only have 3 pots. And here is how we're going to cheat. In a very small pot, I put all of the mirepoix, celery, onion, potatoes, and carrots. And I will add later some of the juice from the meat and some meat, and that is going to be our lunch. Of course, all of the celery juice, it will go back into the pots. And I did not mention before that in my bouquet garni, you see, there is a pocket with the condiments, and I change it from the one pot to the other. As you can see, they are all on a very low simmer, and I presume that they will be ready by 7 o'clock in the morning. But the whole procedure, it will take until noon. So by 12 o'clock, all of my jellied pork will be potted. Okay, so this one, there's already in my bouquet garni, but this one, I will chop it and put it into the pots. So it will give a nice hot and tart taste to my jellied pork. Did I tell you that I am retired? I am close to 70 years old. I will enjoy a coffee, and this mug is from our 50th anniversary from leaving school, and we had a reunion, and this is a mark to remind of the school days. So I was a pupil of the English School of Nicosia, and it has been some time, over half a century, but life continues, and in the meantime, my casseroles, they are on a low simmer. We still have many hours to go. I will enjoy my coffee. I want to tell you why and how this nice dish is traditional. So what they used to do in the old days, and I am referring to the years before 1960. Because by 1960 we had many butchers, we had markets, we had supermarkets, so you could buy your meat from there. But in the rural areas of Cyprus, they used to raise a pig in the backyard. And what they would do, they would slaughter it just before Christmas. And the meat should last for 1 year. So when they slaughtered the pig, they removed the 2 legs. You can see there, it's my ham getting dried. It will take some time. And they removed the 2 hams and they made it into hiromeri. And of course, this procedure took for many months. Actually, it needs normally 6 to 7 months or maybe 8 months, depending where you are, for the hiromeri to be cured. They used the 2 loins to make a similar food, but it was ready in the next 15 days. They used to make the head of the pig and the trotters. They used to make the Zalatina, this jellied pork, as we are doing today. And it did not require any refrigeration, because when you put it into the pots, and especially in winter, in December and January and February, it's so cold, you don't need to have the jellied pork in the refrigerator. Actually, they didn't have one. But it was a food that they would enjoy later. Now, with the shoulders, so they did all of the charcuteries from the pig. Now, the bigger chunks of meat, they used to fry it in the fat of the pig. Okay, then put it in big earthen pots that they were enameled. They were glazed with ceramic paint, actually ceramic. They were impervious, and they used to put the meat into those pots. Rather, before, they used to put it in wine so that it would be cured a little bit, salt and wine, and then fry these pieces in the fat of the pig and put it into the pots and pour on top the lard that they collected from the fat of the pig. Now, those pots, they would be in a cellar, in a cool or dry place, and they used to dig out meat to use for various recipes and use it actually for the next months. Okay. So what they did with the trimmings, they made it into mincemeat and stuffed the intestines and make sausages. Now, the Cyprus sausages, they are again, it's a mincemeat that they put wine and they put salt and condiments and other stuff. And when they stuff the sausages, then they will smoke them the same way as we smoke the ham. and the loins. So they used to all of the pig, even the small lardons, the fried fat. They used to make snacks, so you put a little bit of salt and you could snack it. Or my mother even made a cake, so it was a recipe of an ordinary cake. Plus she put a lot of lardons in it, and they were nutritious because especially in winter, the time that she was making this cake, it was December and January, so it was cold. You could consume some more calories at the time. Nowadays, this is forbidden. So they used every part of the pig. The only thing that they consumed the day of the slaughter was the liver and some more of the offals. So actually they threw nothing because the trotters, they used to go into the jellied pork together with the head, and so the first thing to be consumed was the liver, that it couldn't last for many days. But the cured meats, like the ham and the loins and the bacon, they used to hang it on those cross beams on the ceiling, and they used to have their own source of meat. Mind you, in the old days, before we had the supermarkets and the butchers, in the backyard, even in towns, they used to have, a couple of chickens and some rabbits. So they had their local meat at home. So this is to tell you how traditional this dish is, and it is very similar. Cheers. To the head cheese that I am also interested. Sometimes I watch YouTube myself and see how my friends, my chef friends in England and in the States and elsewhere, they do this dish. It is different, but the main difference is that our jellied pork is very sour. And you see, when the meat is close to be cooked, so now it is close to 4 o'clock in the morning, at 6 o'clock, about half an hour, 1 hour before finishing the food, I will add all of the acids into the casserole so that the meat will find time to absorb. Of course, the meat does not absorb all of the acidity when we boil it. It will do that later, and this is called osmosis. Now, in Greek, osmi, it means smell. And the Greek words, they are used a lot in the dictionaries. So osmosis is when the smell of the one item goes into the other. So the meat will absorb the acidity from the vinegar and the juices of bitter oranges and lemons. And even if we make our stock very tart, eventually it will become sweeter. So we don't consume this jellied pork the first day that we make it. We have to keep it in the refrigerator or outside if it's winter for a couple of days until all of the aromas, they will mix together. So this is why in every pot, when we put the chopped meat inside and the stock, all of the fat, it will rise on top, and it will make a layer that it will seal the food below, and it will keep it for a very long time. So over the on the top of the on the top layer, actually on top, we add a few branches of rosemary, and this gives a very nice aroma. And probably this is one of the differences that our jellied pork has from the other head cheeses, as they call them. So it will take a long time until I am ready, but from time to time I will be talking to you. So cheers for another time, and in a few seconds for you, for me some hours, we will be together. Okay, we are progressing. It has been some time, it's close to 6 o'clock in the morning. I removed the ears and I chopped them, and I removed the trotters and I chopped. Actually, in a trotter you only find the tendons and skin. There is barely any meat in it, but this is what going to make them the jellied pork set. Okay, I will show you now the other meats. Here we have the meat. This is the meat, and these are the tongues, which when they were cooked 3/4 towards the end, I removed them, I pulled them a little bit, and I removed the white skin. So you know, the skin of the tongue is a little bit rough. So now you will see it chopped. Okay, we have all of the meats ready. So these are the ears, and these are the trotters. So it's half and half, okay? And here I have them, I have the tongues and I have the meat. So right now I will pot them. So this is an earthen pot that I will use quite a few. All right. You see, in the bottom I put a few pieces of red chili because I didn't want to put more, because already my stove is a little bit hot. The same thing here. I put 1 or 2 small pieces of chili into the jar. So I will jar it and I will be back. All right. Here we have all of the Zalatina, all of the jellied pork meat potted. So finally we have 7 small jars, 3 larger pots, 3 small ones, and this one I will keep it for Christmas. So it will be just one dish that I will reverse into a platter. You see this nice snack. It can last for a very long time into the refrigerator because it's very sour, and it has some. It's like a pickle. It's got a lot of vinegar in it. So I will see you in a few moments, so we can see together what happens with the stock. I told you that I used 18 liters of water. So after finishing my Zalatina, I have now about 9 liters. You see, this pot, when it is full up, it is 15 liters. But together with this one, now it's the same stock, but in this one I skimmed all of the fat and I put it here. So I will put it on top of my pots, so that that crust of that layer of fat, it will seal the food below. Also we saved lunch. Okay, So this goes away. Now my Zalatina, it can set on its own because there is a lot of jelly in it because of the cartilage and the joints. But because the weather in Cyprus is still warm, we have 20 degrees during daytime. When you serve a jellied pork and it stays out of the, on the table for a long time, it could become soft and runny. So I will be using some gelatin. Now, gelatin, when you use it, you have to turn the fire off first of all, because it must not boil. So my water is warm actually, is very hot. So I used 1 sachet in this one and 3 sachets in this one. You always put the gelatin into the hot stock and you stir it. So this is to maintain the Zalatina set into the dish until the end of dinner. So I will put it now in my jars and see you later. You must have heard the phrase that I am adding a cherry on the cake. Well, in this case, I am adding the rosemary onto my Zalatina. Even more, if you know that somebody likes chilies, you can as well put a chili on top, just one, okay, because we added already inside. So the Zalatina is ready. My next video, I will show you how the Zalatina looks when it is set. Now I will let it cool. It will take a few hours, and tomorrow when it is set, I will make another video for you as soon as possible actually, and show you how we can serve it into a dish. So thank you very much for watching. This is Chef Andros at home. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.